Hello and welcome to another great webinar from CPA Academy. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Autumn and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar on what is new in QuickBooks Desktop 2022. Our presenter today is Marjorie Adams. Now that we're all set, let's welcome our presenter. Marjorie, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Autumn. Thanks. I am super excited. Thanks to CPA Academy for hosting us today. We are thankful for your partnership every year with helping us get the word out about the new features coming out in QuickBooks Desktop 2022. So of course, you're seeing it here first. This will be the most comprehensive review of what the features are, and we'll be doing a lot of in-product, as much in-product as I possibly can. As you all know, I love that, showing you what it actually looks like. There's a couple things with setup that I have to flip over to screenshots because obviously once it's set up, there's no redoing it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Seeing a lot of familiar names on our attendees list too, so thanks for some of the shout outs and support too this morning. That's really nice. So I'm Marjorie Adams. I am the CEO of Fourlane. I personally am located outside of Austin, Texas. One of those transplants from the San Francisco Bay Area. I moved down here in 2009, so before Tesla. Fourlane, however, is a 100% remote firm. We have over 75 employees across 16 states. My personal passion is to educate and provide opportunity to as many businesses and individuals as I can. Here at Fourlane, we do that in many ways. In 2020, we started a scholarship fund to support the future generations of accounting software implementation specialists. We have a goal to distribute over $200,000 in scholarships by 2023. So I'm very proud of that. We also have an internship program that runs in the summer months to help show students that CPA is not the only pathway in accounting and in our industry, although it's a great one, right? And then, of course, we do these What's New webinars to help our community learn and take advantage of the technology available to our QuickBooks clients every year. So hopefully you can really hear my passion, educate and provide opportunity. So who's Fourlane? A couple things about us, what makes us unique. So we are the #1 QuickBooks solution provider and top enterprise reseller. We have been since 2010. Why does that matter? It's not a bragging thing over here. It's mainly that we see a tremendous amount of clients. As we all know, we learn the most from our clients. And so the fact that we've been #1 for so many years allows us to really contribute more to the community, spread the word, do more trainings, things like this. So that really matters. We are QuickBooks and ERP experts, so we don't just represent QuickBooks, we also represent a product called Acumatica. The majority of the time, we are using our knowledge in ERP to talk clients out of it because they're not quite ready. Sometimes it's hard to tell them that, right? But they're not quite ready. So the fact that we can have those open communications and take them there if they are ready or when they are ready is really unique. The other thing that I've found, which is different, is that we are experts in accounting and systems here at Fourlane, so we understand how to make the system, break the system, do every workaround possible. We also understand debits and credits, right? We can get down with deferred revenue and WIP and progress invoicing and all the things. So what I found in the ERP space is that a lot of the consultants don't have a focus in accounting. They know systems, they know IT, they know technology. And so I didn't know this was a unique thing, but this is something that actually makes us unique in this world. And then of course, we're project managers for change management. We do have some repeat customers that come back to us mostly for projects, but we do have some recurring customers. Most of our work is in project, right? So people switching systems, people needing to add a web store, which we're going to be talking about today, people needing to fix their system because of some kind of corruption. So we help clients go through that change. Here at Fourlane, we are focused entirely on data, getting data to make decisions, right? So what we've found over the years is that a lot of people just, first of all, don't value their QuickBooks. They don't put enough value into what this system is doing for them. And then they also sometimes don't trust it. And so to me, that just means that we're not using it effectively. So how do we help with this? Processes, documentation. We do custom reports and programming. So we make sure that if QuickBooks doesn't do this one thing and we need an automation, right? You hear this automation. Everybody talks about automation nowadays. Well, we can make those kinds of things happen in QuickBooks. And the funny part is, right, even when you go to that ERP software, a lot of times you're still having to do customizations to make those automations happen. So this is where we're focused, getting data to make decisions. Okay, enough about all. The beginning parts always make me nervous because I don't like talking about myself, so I'm much more comfortable talking about QuickBooks. So let's talk about what is new in QuickBooks Desktop 2022. So this year's QuickBooks release is focused on accomplishing more faster. Okay. I always feel a twinge of anxiety when we talk about speed, fast, hurry up in accounting or in business management, because speed usually means change or movement forward, sometimes with or without strategy, sometimes with or without consistency. So those words kind of give me a little bit of anxiety. But this year, the changes to QuickBooks software are heavily geared towards efficiency. So that word helps to remove. So we talk about more, faster, also efficiency, right? Think about that throughout today. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about changes to licensing. We're going to talk about the 2022 QuickBooks Enterprise change, Pro and Premier Plus changes, right, which will Enterprise also swallows up the Pro Plus and Premier Plus changes, and then some changes that are happening with assisted payroll. Our learning objectives today, so we want you to be able to walk away identifying the new features in QuickBooks Enterprise 2022 Desktop product, and then also identify the new features in QuickBooks Pro Plus and Premier Plus 2022. So let's get into it. Hopefully this is not the first time you're hearing this information, so don't shoot the messenger, although the messenger strongly supports this change that's happening. So I thought it was really important for us to understand the things that are changing with licensing when it comes to 2022. So the past forever, right, for all time, QuickBooks time, since the 90s, QuickBooks has been available to purchase outright. QuickBooks Pro and QuickBooks Premier has been available to purchase outright, which means that you can purchase the product. Say we purchased, you like my screenshot of Pro 2012. I couldn't believe I could find that on the internet. So I have QuickBooks Pro 2012. I purchased it in 2012, and I have never upgraded ever since. I purchased it one time, and I can continue to use it forever. That's the way it was before. Now, every 3 years, if you were using merchant services or payroll, you would be forced to upgrade. So you would have to be within at least 3 years. So you'd have to go to 2015, 2018, 2021, right? So that's how it's always been. QuickBooks Online, meanwhile, has been subscription since day one. And I think it was in 2016 that QuickBooks Enterprise, it was introduced to the subscription model as well. Okay, so QuickBooks Pro, Premier, Mac, and also Point of Sale have not been subscription products. Now, why is that? Why does it matter? I mean, a lot of people can still work in QuickBooks Pro if they're just, you know, using the basics of the software, maybe using it as a kind of glorified checkbook or a step up from Quicken, right, the old days. But in 2017, if we were following this model, when they released the ability to have deleted users not be deleted to the audit or not removed from the audit trail, when they allowed for partial search of words inside of the customer center, we wouldn't have gotten that release if we followed this pathway of 12, 15, 18. We would have had to wait till 18 to get that release. In 2019, when they fixed the major permission gaps, added transferring credits, we would have had to wait until 2021 to get those features added to our technology. Okay. So the feature releases for people following this pathway were much more sporadic. We were not able to take advantage of technology, and that was because people didn't want to pay the couple $100s a year to do those upgrades. Okay. Now let's talk about what pricing looks like. So this is the current pricing in 2021. So when we look at like a pro user, we're showing MSRP here, and then we're showing the Fourlane price as an example, okay? So you guys have seen some of these prices, Fourlane prices. Working through Fourlane, who's a QSP, we have opportunities to get different pricing than going through Intuit directly. So this pricing is going away. There will not be any 2022 outright available for purchase. Okay. So everybody needs to rush out and buy 2021 and let us know, because it's not going to be available for purchase anymore. So what's the future look like? So going forward, it's going to be Desktop Pro Plus, which we've had for a couple of years, Desktop Premier Plus, which we've had for a couple of years, and now Desktop for Mac Plus is also coming out. Okay, so they will be on a subscription basis. So what does that mean? If I buy it today, you can't buy it today, you can't buy it until October 12th. When I buy it on October 12th, I buy Desktop Pro, 3 users, 2022. Then on October 12th next year, I need to pay my subscription renewal. If I do not pay that subscription renewal, I will no longer have access to the software. Okay. So pricing. So again, taking a look at pricing. And all of these are available, by the way, in the slide deck that is out there in handouts. So when we look at pricing, we look at a 1 user Pro Plus. We're talking about $299 a year, every year. Okay. With 5 user Premier, $16.99 a year, every year. Of course, here at Fourlane, we have some differential pricing for year 1, which is why you want to work through QSPs to help make sure that you're getting the best pricing. We'll talk about that more in a second. Okay. So a couple of things. This is, to me, I know it sounds like downer news, but I promise it's not. To me, this is fantastic news. A couple keys to success to make sure that this is fantastic. This provides an opportunity for us to really right fit with the right product. Historically, we've had some people who weren't ready to go to QBO, not because of features, but because of subscription. They weren't ready for subscription. Now, if they really are ready for QBO and the feature set is correct, we can get them into QBO because it removes the fact that desktop isn't subscription, right? The fact that desktop is now subscription also levels the playing field, and we can really right fit with the right product in the QuickBooks space. So it gives an opportunity to talk to all of our customers or to look at our own company and say, are we in the right product? Is this the right product that we should be going forward? Okay. Secondly, especially for any changes, right now is a good time. Licensing is confusing enough. Right now is a great time to partner with someone like Fourlane or any other QSP out there to make sure that you are getting the best pricing available for you, your customers, your company. And then the other thing is, because it's subscription annually, it is great to revisit pricing and product. There are times historically where there have been changes. Obviously with COVID, there was a lot of changes, and the price changes did not happen during that time period for people, right? So we were able to grant them specialized pricing because of what was going on in the world, because they called us and came back and said, hey, how's it going with your pricing? What can I take advantage of? What is available to me? So form those relationships with people so that you can make sure that you are getting the best pricing for you, your company, your customers. So again, I think this is a good thing. This equalizes this product with other products in the Intuit family. This makes it so that I think Intuit is going to invest more in this product, and you'll see some of that today. This also makes it so that all customers always have access to the latest releases, right? So you train a customer, you say, hey, did you know that this came out? And oh, you should be able to take it. Oh, I'm not in 2021, I'm in 2019. That halts training, right? That halts the ability to take advantage of technology. So we will always have access to these latest releases. And then these are just speculations from me, so do not jot these down anywhere or do not take them to heart too much. But this is just my speculations, what I can guess and see in the future. This is what I'm guessing. I do think there are going to be more frequent releases. When Enterprise went to subscription, we started to get mid-year releases, right? Cycle Counts was released in February. Pick, Pack, Ship Automation was released in November, right? So you get more frequent releases. This is what I expect is going to happen. I think that there's going to be more investment because obviously now it is a subscription product, it will have more value to Intuit overall. And I'm really hoping that that could mean less installations. Right now we install every year. Who knows? Maybe fewer installations needed. So I see this as a good thing. I hope everybody else does as well. So that is the big license change. And I hope everybody, again, sees this as being a good thing. Let me go ahead and launch our first poll as I look through some of the questions around this. So how do you use the information in this webinar today? How many polls so far? This was the first poll. Okay, so someone asked, does 2021 have an annual subscription price or does that start in 2022? So that will only be with QuickBooks Desktop 2022. Okay. If you have 2021, it can still be an outright product and you can still buy 2021 from Fourlane as an example for a little bit of time. So if you need to buy it right away, we can help you with that. The subscription, somebody asked about what operating systems. So the operating systems are not changing at all. Still same technical requirements as 2021. There's going to be some change as far as using the operating systems, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So with, somebody asked about the pricing. So with like QBO, does the account pay or does the accountant pay or does the client? So they do not have wholesale billing. With Plus, Pro and Premier Plus, you can bill your client and pay for it, right? Have it lumped in to their payments. So you can do that if you choose to. You can pay it on their behalf, but it's not required. Okay, go ahead, give it a couple more seconds here and close that poll. And let's go ahead and share the results here. So it looks like some people use this to train clients, most people in here for their own knowledge, which is great, I love that. 26% to implement in their business, and 1% to create content of their own. So I like it. Okay, now that the licensing discussion is over with, let's go on to our new features. So here's new feature number 1. 64-bit processing. So this feature doesn't have nearly enough slides to understand the impact that it's going to be having. So in QuickBooks Desktop 2022, QuickBooks has moved to take advantage of 64-bit processing. So what is 64-bit processing? So previously, QuickBooks was running as a 32-bit software, processing software. And that 32-bit could function on 64-bit computers. Okay, but what it meant was, now that they're switching to 64-bit processing speed, It allows access to 4 billion times the physical memory than the 32-bit software that they were doing before, so in 2021. So it's a huge number. This is a huge change, okay? So how do I know if my computer is 64-bit? You can go into that search panel on your Windows icon bar, search computer, click on properties, and then under system type, it'll say 64-bit. As a reminder, Windows is considering discontinuing support for 32-bit apps. So it's a good time, right? Good time to move forward. So this is a big overhaul in the software. So what should I expect with this change? So we have had numbers reported between 10 and 38% faster speed for running reports, creating transactions, and reconciling. You look at that. Think about your little spinny bar. Less spinny bar, less spinny bar. Logging in and out of companies should be faster. There should be less crashing, fewer black screens, the black and white, right, usually. There is not a change with the web connector yet, okay? And then any programs, meaning it still is connecting at the 32-bit, and then any programs that go straight through the API, so that don't use the web connector as an example, can be updated for faster processing speeds, right, to take advantage of that 64-bit processing. So what does that mean? So here at Fourlane, we build custom applications for customers. I had a customer one time who wanted to, they had, I don't know, 126 different files, and they wanted us to build an intercompany reconciliation tool to look like a QuickBooks reconciliation, but it was really reconciling between company files. We did that for them. They've used it for several years. And then now that the 64-bit processing is being released, we will have to do an update to that program to take advantage of the faster speeds. Not a huge update, but that will be happening. So expect to hear from some of those third-party applications. If they go through the web connector, no change. But for any of the ones that go directly, there should be an improvement in speed available. What if I'm using a hosting company? So most hosting companies, just like most computers nowadays, were already using 64-bit technology. So usually there's no change needed. Again, not enough slides, so I just included a little extra slide in here because this is a really big deal, especially here at Fourlane. I'm dancing too with all these people. This is a really big deal. This is super exciting for us to have the ability to take advantage of some speed, right? QuickBooks is always improving the little things with speed every year, but this is major. Big investment in desktop for sure. Okay, that's number one. In number two, new feature number two is upload bills. So for this feature, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my phone. So I need to open up the Reflector app really quickly. So that will take me just a second to get that showing my screen because they take you through all the authentication. The Reflector app, in case y'all haven't heard, well, there it goes, allows you to screen mirror your phone. We use it frequently when we do demos of field service management, which is an app that Intuit uses, or of T-Sheets. So you guys can see here my phone. Okay. All right. The first thing we're going to talk about is upload bills. Last year we had upload receipts, right? So you can see the receipt here on my phone. And now we have bills, snap and upload. So what does this look like? If I go ahead and click into bill, I can click snap bill. And I can hover over my bill here and it will capture the bill that I have printed out, right? The paper I have printed out here. I can say use this photo, put in some notes here. So Fourlane services, whoops, Not at all. I just reset my phone typing here. So version with Fourlane. And hit upload. So very simple, easy to use. And what's nice about that is, right, when we're trying to encourage people to use technology in the field, makes it much, much easier. So we go ahead and say, okay, now it's been uploaded. I can go in and view previously uploaded bills in here as well. So you can go in and access any that you had uploaded previously too. Pretty straightforward as far as use on the phone. Now we're going to go ahead in product. Let me skip forward a couple slides here. If you're following along, we're going to go ahead into QuickBooks. I'm in QuickBooks Enterprise 2022 so that I can have access to all the features available. And we're going to go to vendors, and we now have upload and review bills. Now it'll take a second. So you can see here a couple of different things. First, we have manage users. So manage users is really important to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and click into here. It tells us about our prerequisites and kind of what the users will be doing. And then you can click in and say give access. When you go into here, this is logging into your Intuit account user. So we talked a lot about this last year. You can go in and add users that have access using the Intuit account user account. So I can add a user here. When you add a user, you add their email address. You can decide which access they have, secondary admin, payroll manager, payroll processor. Again, in the 2021, we went over this in detail, what each of these roles mean. But for this area, we just need to be a basic user. Okay, so you just have to set them up as a basic user in order for them to be able to snap bills and upload. Okay. So once we've added the users, now you can see a couple of things that we have available to us. So the first one is we have browse to upload. So in here, I can go in to my extras and click on and upload a bill, and then it'll process that bill. You can look in and see the details here. The secondary thing, which I'm going to flip back to my PowerPoint here so you can see the workflow. The secondary thing, oh wait, before I move on, just so you're aware, the bills to be uploaded have to be JPEG, JPG, PNG, or PDF, right? So that format is what they have to be in because they're going to be read, right, through OCR rating to pull some of the details automatically. So the second one here, which is send bills, we can actually create a custom email address. So I created Fourlane, it's actually Fourlane 2022 at qbdesktopdocs.com. Once you claim that email address, that is now yours, that is linked to the company file. And then, so you can see here, I now have claimed Fourlane 2022 QuickBooks Desktop. Now down below here, once I have claimed the desktop address, I actually have to go in and add those users, so manage users, and decide which one of my users can email to this address. So everybody in the world just goes and emails Fourlane 2022 at qbdesktopdocs.com right now, it's going to reject it. To tell you no. Okay. So when we email, it's just a regular email. You can see here, Fourlane invoice, and here's the attached invoice. So this is what you will see as a user if you try to email and your email address is not registered for receipt forwarding or bill forwarding. This is the email that you will get. And then you need to reach out to your admin and ask them to add you, to go in to this area and manage users and add you as someone who can email. Now in the email I sent, it did give me an error message. I just want to make sure you guys are aware of this as well. It says we can't process 5 out of 6 attachments to the email you recently sent us. And that's because there were a whole bunch of images in my email, things like my LinkedIn, Fourlane logo. So there were some. It just didn't matter, but it did pick up the one attachment that mattered. Again, just in case. Okay, so let's go back into QuickBooks here. So here we have, again, let me go ahead and refresh and see. Now just that one bill is processing. It was an image I actually uploaded on accident earlier, so thanks for that. Down below here, what we have is we have an image which I can hover over and it'll show me an image of what was uploaded. And it'll pick up some of the information on the document. I have a couple of actions over here, so I can go ahead and import this data, meaning go ahead and bring it in. I can delete if I'm not going to use this, and then we're going to talk about move to receipts here in a second. Before I move on, just also so you know, you can select mass edit, delete, mass move to receipts. There's also some settings over here, so you can add like reference number, you can add memo, you can say you want to see more on a page. And then these menus, just like many of the menus in QuickBooks nowadays, if you need to refresh, you have to manually refresh or close out and reopen it. Okay. And I guess I skipped over this third box here, Snap on Mobile, because that was really what we did first. Okay. And when we snapped on mobile, it just tells you to go in and download it from your Apple Store or Google Store. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave one so I can do move to receipts later. So import this data. So it comes in here, and the first thing we see, really cool, is we see an image of the bill over here on the side. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, right? Go to the next page if there's multiple pages. So pretty neat stuff there. The other thing is that right on the initial import, you can see, again, you can reopen it from right here, which is not normal in QuickBooks. And once we save this transaction, it won't be the same. So as you guys can see, a couple things. I did not select the vendor. It picked up my vendor automatically. I did not select the date. It picked that up automatically. It did not pick up my invoice number, which I thought was kind of strange, but just add one in there. It did pick up the amount due. Okay, it defaulted to my bill due date. It does pick up the class since I have a class assigned at the vendor level. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then it defaulted some things from previous bills down here as well. So I'll just go ahead and close out of this and say save. Saying it's in a closed period. Well, my demo file is getting really abused. So it added that right into my file. So now when I go into my vendor center and I go to Adams QBDBA, I have this bill, and notice the picture is now gone, but I do have the attached file sitting here so I can access that file again if I need to. So very neat. We had something similar with receipt capture that last year. Now we've got it with bill capture. Very future forward. Coming back into my review bills section here, so I can also choose, let's say somebody accidentally uploaded it as a bill and it was meant to be something else. I can choose to move this to receipts, which is basically saying this is like a credit card receipt that you should be reading, not a bill. So if they click the wrong button. Okay, we can choose to move to receipts as well. Again, let's hop on back in here to our PowerPoint and progress forward through to see all of these things. So now on upload bills, the things that we want to focus on is 1, consistency, right? The OCR is reading the bill details, date, memo, vendor, and amount. 2, on efficiency, we're automatically attaching documents. We don't have to go in there and do that process manually. And then speed, we are getting to paperless significantly faster. So very exciting stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and to our polls. And I'm sorry, Autumn, these polls are not, I just am looking at these polls. These are not the uploaded polls that we did yesterday. So it's the same questions, just with the wrong ask here. So are you planning on using the bill management feature? All right, so some cool things there. Okay, so let me answer some questions while we are going through this. Can a bill also be entered physically without a snap image on a smartphone? So no, that's just a snap, right? So it's the OCR reading. Will the uploaded bills automatically attach to POs? I did not test that. That's a good question, Rick, so we'll have to take a look at that. If we use this feature, will it cause the QuickBooks file to become a lot larger or run slower? So the attachments actually are stored next to the QuickBooks file, not as part of the file. So it's just a link. So it's based on your computer, right? How much can your computer hold? Just as always with attachments. Okay. So the question was, is there a way to attach the image from the bill here? Oh, it looks like we went through. You said never mind. Very good stuff there. Okay, let's go ahead and close these polls and share the results. Some people maybe not. Yes, I could use this immediately. Yes, but I'll wait a couple of months. Maybe, happy or maybes. And some people probably not. Okay, and Autumn, I don't know if you saw my note in there, but hopefully you can take a look at that.
Yes, I am working on it.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Let's go ahead and go on to feature number 3. So this is the only enterprise-only feature this year. Okay, I do know some future mid-year releases that are going to be coming up that are so exciting. So these two things, well, not future release, I can't talk about yet. But this is one of the things that I ask about every year. This is one of the #1 reasons why people move out of QuickBooks and go into an ERP product or have to use like a bill.com or things like that. So this is a huge step in the right direction. And again, available for QuickBooks Enterprise clients only. So I apologize ahead of time at how much I have to switch back and forth between files today. It's just the nature of moving through this, but you cannot do approvals in sample files. So I had to set up kind of just a dummy file over here. So let's talk about approvals. So here under company, we have set up approval processes. And let me go ahead and progress forward here. So of course, the first time that you are going through setup, it is going to ask you some different questions than what you're going to see on my screen today because I've already set it up. Okay, so it'll take you directly to the templates tab in here. Okay, so right now I have the approval processes that is already set up because I've done it already, but I have the templates here. So currently, the only approval process is going to be surrounding bills. And I say currently because look at all this white space. Something more has got to be coming in the future. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and set up the bill here. Things to note, right now only one approval process can be activated for a specific type of transaction, which only bills are available, but kind of some foreshadowing there. You can only assign one approver currently for the approval process. And let's go down here to the details. So I have a description. I'm just going to call it bills because that's all we got right now. I have conditions that I can set up. So you have the first condition is a bill amount is greater than or equal to, etc. I'm going to put in here $500. I can add additional, right? So I can say greater than 500, less than 8,000. I don't know why we would do that per se, but let's just say we would. And then I can continue, right, to add in here. I'm not going to make mine super complicated today, but just, I can add additional conditions around vendor. So the vendor is within or not within, and then you can select vendors. Also vendor types. So if certain vendor types require us to have approvals, we can have that as well. Down below here, it tells us the actions. So it says bill to be approved by, and then I have a drop down here where I can say all of my users. I will be able to see all my users, so I only have 2 users set up in this file, admin and test. It is definitely not recommended for anyone to use the admin user if you're functioning in the file daily, right? You should set up a secondary user, not use the admin user. So whoever is responsible for approving, it should be their user in here. Who do you want to send the email notification to? Generally, those 2 would be the same. If it's not approved within a certain amount of days, please send a reminder to the approver to go in and do approvals. Then down below here, again, it says send to admin. We can add BCC or CCs. It has a subject, bill, and then whatever the document number, needs your approval. And then you can modify the message down below if you need to. Okay. Now we have the ability to save, and then we want to be able to save and activate. Right? So only one can be activated at any time currently. Okay. So now I've got my approval process set up. Now I am logged in as the admin currently, so if I go in and enter a bill, let's go ahead and do this to Sam's Parts, and it's for office supplies of $870 and say save. Bill's posted, just like normal, what we're used to. Now, if I close and log out of this file, and I log back in as my test, super secret test user, when I come in here as my test user and I enter a bill, oops. So let's go ahead. We're going to enter a bill to Sam's Parts again for $400. Reference number 111 and say save. Oh, I didn't turn off the beep. It allows it to post, right? Because it's under that $500 threshold that I set up. Now let's go in and do Sam's Parts 222, and we're going to do amount due $505. And I can say save. Now, there's 2 things that it does here. So first of all, if Sam is not set up as a user with basic, the basic user profile rights, then you're going to get an error, and I'll show you those errors in a little bit. But Sam has 2 choices right now. So something that we've never had before. Sam now has the ability to save as draft. Let's say that $505, he didn't know how to allocate that yet, and he started to key some stuff in. I mean, Sam, test is the user, right? Test. He started to key some stuff and he said, I need to come back to this later. He can save it as a draft. This is the first time ever having this. So I can save this as a draft. When I do this as a draft, when I go look at like my AP aging summary report, right? If I go look in here, all the things, that 505 is not showing up in here. Is not in posted status yet. In order to get it out of draft status, you do need to edit it and make a change. So I make a change down here. I'm just going to add an extra 2 up here just for speed. I say save again. It says, would you like to change? And then now I can send it for approval. At the point where we send it for approval, it turns to pending approval right here, right? And it is still in an unposted status. So if I go into vendors pay bills, Sam's Parts bill is not going to be in here. It is still in a non-posting status. So a non-posting bill, this is a big deal. Let me switch on over into our PowerPoint and progress forward a little bit so you can see some of the notifications. So you will get an email address if you're the approver. I mean, an email if you're the approver from QuickBooks at notification.intuit.com. This bill for this company is awaiting your approval. You do need to go log into the company in order to do the approvals. Okay. So let me go ahead and log out, and I will log back in as the admin. And I can say, this is such a big deal. I'm so excited about this change. So when I come in here and log in, then I can go to company and set up or track and approve transactions. As you see, I also have it approvals list on the bill up top there. And so here I have that bill for $505 that I can come in and add. So you can click into the bill. If you're going to choose to reject it, what I found is the best thing to do is just type in the memo, the reject reason. That way they can read it. So reject it because it needs to add customer job, reject it because it needs to add class, whatever it is. So instead of the reviewer now having to be the one that just fixes everything, we can hold people accountable, send it back to them, and have them fix it themselves. So that way maybe next time they submit something to us, they don't forget the class. How about that? Okay, so I have the opportunity to review it. I do have the opportunity to make modifications if I want to. And then we can come in here and say approved. Okay. Now, one of the things also is, so you have the pending, rejected, approved over here. I also have the all area. And what's nice about the all area is it kind of gives you like approved, what's been rejected. You can drill in and see these things. So even the rejected one, I could come in here and see. Now, I rejected it and then later approved it, so you can see what happened to it along the way. But anything that's grayed out down the side here means that I've already handled it, right? So anything that I could choose a drop down and make a change would be something that I needed to work on. So pretty exciting and cool things built into QuickBooks Enterprise. So a couple things, if you do get rejected, you will get an email as well, right? So the user test would have got an email, your bill has been rejected. They can go in there and fix it. Also, they'll get an email, your bill has been approved. So good work, high fives. Couple troubleshooting things. So just so you know, if you go in and hit save, it may, if you have not set them up as a user, it may say, whoops, I'm sorry. It may say they need to sign into the Intuit account. So they need to sign into their Intuit account as a user. The second thing is if the admin has not set up the Intuit account linked to the file, you might see this one as well. That just means the admin needs to log in and make sure that they have set up test as a user as well. Oh my gosh, y'all, we have so much to get through. Okay, so approvals for bills. Why is this so important? We have security, management, and employee protection. So employees like when they get their work reviewed and that somebody signs off on it. So it's a great protection for them. Efficiency. We have a draft status on bills. So you partially get through that credit card bill, which hopefully we don't put credit card bills in as credit card bills, but it's okay. You get through that credit card bill and you're 90% of the way done and you haven't finished it yet. You can put it in a draft status. And then the other thing is accountability, right? We can have rejections and force people to go fix their work. Super exciting changes. So let's go ahead and launch poll number 3. How will you best use approvals? So there's a question, is this online approval for bill pay for enterprise only? So yes, this is enterprise only. And one of the things too, when it comes to the licensing changes to think about is for some of the enterprise features, which are significant, right? Significant feature access above Pro and Premier and then significant above QuickBooks Online. But having this Pro and Premier be a subscription product, enterprise might be in the right price range for a client now. So that's why we definitely say reach out to us about that. Yes, this is enterprise only. Right now it does have notifications per transaction. But yes, when is 2022 available again? So the accounts edition is available today. The rest of the editions are available on 10/12. You can reach out to us, info@fourlane.com, and we will help you out. Each approver does have to log into QuickBooks, so they will need a QuickBooks license. All right, let's go ahead and close the poll and share. We have here, how will you best use it? For project managers, some people, for AP clerks, lots of people in accounting, right? And several people who said probably won't be using it for their business. Okay, let's move along. So our next feature is attached documents with QuickBooks Mobile. So it's a little bit different. This is more generic, right? So last year we had receipt capture, which is only receipts, OCR reading, reads the receipt to put some information in. We just talked about bills, which is adding some information in as well. Now we're going to talk about attaching documents with QuickBooks Mobile. So again, I'm going to flip on over, and I have to reconnect to my phone so you guys can see what it looks like and how simple it is to utilize this feature. So a lot of times when people have technicians in the field, sales reps in the field, they're, taking pictures of receipts, but they're also taking pictures of blueprints. They're taking pictures of customers' sites. They're taking pictures of all sorts of things. And so that you can use this feature, right, attach documents, to take advantage of that. So I can click on document, I click snap document, and hover over my individual rocks little document here. Use this photo. Again, I can put in some specialized notes here. The typing is not great on my phone today. And it adds that document right away. Okay, I can also look at other uploaded documents that I've done before. So I could have put in there notes, which customer is this for? All sorts of stuff can be uploaded in there. So very simple, easy to use. You do have to set them up as one of the managed users in here. So again, sorry, let me switch on back to my sample file this time and log into my document management center. So we'll progress while it gets logged in there. Very simple, quick and easy steps for you to be able to see. So now that we are logged back in, you come in under company, we have documents, and we have our document center. So we have, this document center is not new, right? So the new part is the mobile. So we can always drag and drop, we can always scan from our computer, or pull from our computer, we can scan in documents. Now we have this mobile access. So when I click on mobile, it's going to be reaching out to that cloud to grab the documents that I just uploaded. And this is where you would manage your users. So here's my notes, and I can go ahead and choose to add this and confirm. Okay. So I have my notes document in here, and it's just sitting in the document center. Right? I could open it up, I could look at it, all these things. So let's go into my customer center here and pick up, I don't know, an invoice. Just say it's this invoice. I can attach file, go to my document center and choose. It's going to just show me the ones that are not attached to other documents. Choose this, view details, open it, or attach it right in there to my document and close it out. So we can have people scanning in all the things that we need as attachments. And again, these attachments do not bog down your QuickBooks file. They're going to be sitting next to your QuickBooks file. The only thing that sits in the QuickBooks file is a link to where it is stored to access that attachment on your server, usually. Very exciting stuff. Simple to use, easy to use, and hopefully will help us progress forward with paperless. That's always my goal too, is get to paperless. In this world now where everyone was working remotely, we needed to get to paperless faster. So speed with attached documents, get to paperless faster. Efficiency, stop hunting down users in the field. Opening up their glove box and like dragging all the papers out, right? And then consistency, a scanned document is going to maintain better. It's going to be maintained better. It's not going to have spilled milk or soda or, you know, rubbed where we can't see things anymore. Very cool there. Okay, let's get into feature number 5. We are got to speed it up a little bit here. So this one's a pretty quick one, but extremely helpful. So we have an area in a customer when you go ahead and edit a customer where you can put in your email address, right? And so when we were sending forms before, you would put in an email address here, and it would send to this email address. And maybe you could put in a CC email address as well. And I'm sorry, I just remembered I have to switch over because sample files also will not allow you to send forms. This is the year that I've had to switch the most. So when we go in and we set up a customer in our customer center, right? Now we have these other fields that have always been available to us: CC, alternate email 1, alternate email 2. So really there's 4 email fields that we can set up at a customer level, a job level, and a vendor level, right? But when we would go in to send forms before, we wouldn't have access to all those customers. So now when we come in to send forms, it is a slight change. So a couple things. First of all, you can have a drop down and choose to add those other email addresses from here. So you can add those easily when you're sending forms. You can also add extra email addresses right on the fly if you needed to. I spelled that wrong. Okay. Very simple feature, but it adds efficiency, adds consistency, especially when we're having to email multiple people on projects. Makes it a lot easier to email. So if I click on job 1 as an example here, I'll see different email addresses because on the job, I actually had different email addresses than I had in the customer as a whole. Very straightforward, easy to use feature. Hopefully people can take advantage of that. I apologize for this next one. I'm going to have to spend a lot of time in the slide deck, but some exciting news has come. So for those who have not heard of Webgility, we've been a partner with Webgility for a long time. A lot of our customers, Fourlane is heavy in manufacturing, wholesale distribution customers. Most of our customers have web stores of some form. So a lot of them use Webgility. So Webgility has always connected to QuickBooks. They've used previously the Web Connector. So this is a big change this year that Webgility in Pro Plus, Premier Plus, and in Enterprise now has the ability to connect directly in product. So similar to if everybody's seen field service management before, direct in product integration, like you will go to your file menu and you will see drop down in your file menu for Webgility syncing. Okay. A couple things about the initial sign up with Webgility too is that they do help customers get set up. Okay, so when you go in to connect to Webgility or set up an account, you can schedule a time with an agent of theirs to connect. Now we do this service with our customers a lot as well, but it's included in the subscription price, right? So if they can use that, we'll steer them that direction. So of course, when it comes into QuickBooks, all web store integration or all web store orders can come into QuickBooks. They can come in as a single order, or they can come in summary for multiple orders, like all orders for the week type of thing. You can have them come in as a sales receipt or as a sales order, depending on where you do your fulfillment. Most of our customers are doing fulfillment out of QuickBooks Enterprise, so it will come in as a sales order. couple things of why this is so exciting. So first of all, you can keep up with inventory. This will sync inventory between your sales channels, like your web store, and it can be web stores, right, if you have multiple brands, which we do. We used to have POS Warehouse and Fourlane. Amazon, Etsy, right, all these different channels, sales channels. You can sync inventory between all of them. You can allow for out of stock at different levels of items. So if the item in QuickBooks goes below, right, so let's say we do some orders, the sales reps enter orders in QuickBooks, the rest of the people in the world are entering orders in our web store, Amazon store, wherever it is. Based on settings, we can have things show out of stock if we want to, based on our quantity on hand in QuickBooks or quantity available. We can create items and sync it to QuickBooks for a single point of entry. So you can create items in QuickBooks, go to the web store, or in Webgility and sync it to QuickBooks. You can do fulfillment out of Webgility or out of QuickBooks. And you can have pricing updated across all the channels in a single point of entry. Anybody's ever had to do pricing updates in web stores? Oof, not fun. You can configure items to post in groups when they come into QuickBooks or as individual items. They might show as a group or as a singular item up in your web store, but they come down into QuickBooks as individual items. You can have assemblies auto build based on available quantities. You can use things called packs. They call them packs, which is managing stock of full or partial cases, right? So like, let's say you have a case of wine and you don't actually have them set up in QuickBooks as a case of wine, but you have individual bottles of wine. So it'll help you to know how many packs or cases of wine you could send out without having to create different items. So again, we already mentioned you can keep price and quantity in sync. Other things you can do, round quantity values. So if you have some crazy quantities in QuickBooks, you can set quantity to 0 if it's negative in QuickBooks. So lots of different options when it comes to syncing. So the biggest deal is, of course, automating transactions, importing transactions from different channels as sales orders or sales receipts, as we mentioned before. You can post individual or summarized transactions. You can track your marketplace fees, so it'll post those, track sales tax in multiple jurisdictions. You can also record shipping and merchant service expenses as well. So very, very powerful when it comes to automation. The data is in an electronic form somewhere. We should be able to use the data, right? That's what I always say. And Webgility makes that possible. Then they do have quite a bit of dashboards that are available as well. So getting you data to make decisions. So what are your top products? Right, what are for sales? What are your top performing channels? What are your sales by location? See down here, Louisiana and California are super excited about our products. Not so much everywhere else. You see average order values, and you can access this information both on the web and on your mobile devices. Anybody's had to deal with Amazon stores, you can update information in your Amazon stores from within Webgility. Single point of entry. So because we are QuickBooks Pro Plus, Premier Plus, or Enterprise users, we also get specialized pricing. So this pricing is set up here so you guys can see, get a discount at every level. This is a monthly price for the integration. But you think about it, if you think about, I mean, even if you do an order a day, how much time would it take you to have 30 orders keyed in a month? $159. Even if you went with the biggest package, it probably costs you more to have 30 orders keyed in a month than $159 because they have to log in every day or even once a month, let's say they do it. Then you don't know where you're at throughout the month either. So it is worth the dollars for the automation. Okay, speed. Syncs every 30 minutes from the store. You can set it up to sync from the store to QuickBooks. Tracking information can be updated, back to the store. Efficiency, single point of entry. And then consistency, automation of transaction entry, right? Sometimes too, you have somebody manually keying something in, the consistency may not be there. Okay, let's go on to our next poll. Do you have an e-commerce presence currently? All right. And while we're doing that, I'm actually switching. No, I don't have to switch for this one. I'm going to say I'm switching back into my other file, but I don't have to switch for this one. So do you have an e-commerce presence? Do you have a web store? Wow. I'm always surprised. When I first started in this industry, everyone told me, or not everyone, but a lot of people told me, I don't like inventory. I don't like working with inventory. I don't like clients that have inventory. So a lot of people stay away from that space. Inventory, I guess because I grew up in manufacturing, right? Motherboard manufacturing. Inventory has always kind of been my jam. Let me go ahead and close this in a couple seconds here. Yeah. All right. Okay, so it looks like not a lot of people using web stores. Good to know. 13% said yes, but mine does not connect QuickBooks. So this is a good time to maybe make some changes. Yes, but use another connector, or yes, I already use Webgility. So lots of opportunity there. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to talk about feature number 7, which is pay bills online with Melio. So again, this is another third-party application, but this is no additional fee except for some of the things that you'll see in here, right? So we'll go ahead and dive on in. So inside of Melio, you see, or inside of QuickBooks here, you can see I now have another little icon up top which says schedule online payment. So I can click into here and it takes me into my schedule online payment area. Now we're going to have to look through the slide deck a little bit on setup here. So first thing, you can get started to pay your first bill. So you can pay with a bank or card, or you can choose how your vendor gets paid along the way. Bill pay is loading. Notice that if you have questions with this, it's actually accessing Melio support. So this is not calling QuickBooks support. I know some people will be happy about that. Once you get logged in, so you choose how you want to pay your vendors. You can choose bank account, which is free, credit card. This vendor that I had in here did not accept credit card payments, but credit card, there is a charge of 2.9%, so similar to what you see in like a Venmo or a Cash App, which is actually higher, or debit card is free as well. Going through our setup, so to connect to your bank, you can connect instantly by logging into your bank, or you can verify with deposits, which will take a little bit of time. They use Plaid to connect to your bank, right, which is a secure connection service that is very frequently used. So you come in, you log into your bank, it verifies your identity through how your bank does it, and then it links to your bank account. You can also add your credit card information if you want to, pay by credit card, or have that as an option. So you enter, it's very simple, enter your credit card number, put in your details, your billing information, and that's it. So things that we're hopefully used to doing out there, you know, people who use other payment apps, it's very similar, very simple to set up. Okay, so let me flip on back into QuickBooks. So I'm going to say, how do I want to pay Sam's Parts here? I'm going to pay by my checking account and hit continue. So again, bank transfer, free, no additional fee. Paper check, free, no additional fee. Or I can ask my vendor for payment details, which is the choice I would most like to use. I can come in here, put in my vendor's email address, and say save and continue. I'm gonna flip on back here. Then the vendor, then you get to ask, when would you like this payment deducted? You can put in a memo for your vendor. Has a quick review, right? It tells you your transaction fee if there's going to be one, and then you can confirm and schedule payment. Now your vendor gets an email. It says, hey, this company would like to pay you via QuickBooks. You can go and accept the payment. So this would be Sam's Parts going in there and accepting payment. Then Sam's Parts says, I'm trying to send them $501. They can choose how they would like to receive this payment, right? Business bank transfer or by paper check. Hopefully they'll choose bank transfer. They can come in here and enter in their routing and account number. So why is this so important? They're doing all the data work for you. That's why this is so important, right? You don't have to maintain this information. They're doing data entry for you, saving time. And then here we have our limitations. So you guys can read through some of the limitations. Has to be sole proprietor or business. No partial payments. So some solutions here have one PO and have multiple bills, create copies of bills, one bill at a time, and domestic only. And there are some restrictions. So efficiency, in-product electronic bill payments. We save money, 0 price point for ACH and debit payments. Credit card is 2.9, which is, again, very standard with all other payment apps out there. You save time having vendors maintain their payment information. You don't have to deal with it. So really, really cool feature there. I know I'm running up on time, so we're going to go ahead on in here. I'm just going to continue with the slide deck on this one because this one is not super exciting, I don't think. But we do have the ability to email bill payment stubs now. So when you go into, I guess I'll flip into QuickBooks for just a second. But when you go into QuickBooks and you go to your templates list now, one of the template options is going to be bill payment. Okay. So when you go into your bill payment, you can come in here and see there's a couple things you'll note. We don't have additional customization and we don't have a template designer in here. So you can add some fields. Let me get into one that looks prettier. Some fields can be added, right? But it's not full template customization. This is a change. Some of the things that really were solved for that people had been asking for years is that, let me show you the before and the after. The way it used to be, we didn't have a logo included in here. It always said check date, right? Check. Now it says check/reference number, payment amount instead of check amount, and then the bill payments up there. But adding that logo, something that people were really excited about. Okay, I have to stay in slide deck for this one. So this is instant deposits. So this actually was released, I think, in June, maybe, of this year. So you do have access to this in 2021 as well. This is doing instant deposits and then the next feature as well. So it requires debit card information to set up. So they do the deposits through a debit card. There is a one-time verification. It does require QuickBooks Payments account. So this is run through QuickBooks Payments account. And you do have a daily maximum, similar to everything else when you're dealing with anything with Intuit Merchant Services. You do have maximums that you can ask for them to be pushed. And based on history, they can make those decisions. So instant deposits, when you come into your Merchant Center, over here you'll see this is how much money is available for an instant deposit, meaning they will give you the cash within 30 minutes. You can go in, confirm your deposit, and the money will be on its way. There's a fee associated with it, right? So there is a 1% fee to take this cash immediately. It will show the fee before you proceed. and they do charge the fee separate from the deposit. So this can be used for short-term cash flow issues, right? Only should be used for short-term cash flow issues. The deposits are available in about 30 minutes, and you can do it 24/7, except for just, that max between 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. Usually, if you don't take this instant deposit option, it would take between 1 to 3 business days for your deposit to hit the bank account. Okay, so sometimes we just need it right away. You can set up to automate your instant deposits, and I put the information here. However, I strongly suggest not doing this because, it's an extra 1%, right? There could be other ways, maybe lines of credit, where we're not paying a 1% fee for maybe a couple days of cash upfront. But it's cool that it's available when you need it. That's great. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and launch our next poll. Do you currently use Intuit credit card processing? Let's go ahead and see. Intuit credit card processing, they are so focused on making sure to make it as easy as possible for your customers to pay you, right? And that's the next feature we're going to talk about as well. Which is payment links. Payment links. I actually had somebody ask about this the other day. So let me see if there's any questions while we're going through this. Oh gosh, there's a lot of questions. With Melio, can you manually enter vendor bank information also? Yes, so you can choose to put in your vendor's information too, or you can have your vendor choose how they want to get paid. So ask if there's international payments, so it's domestic only currently. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and close the poll. So it looks like lots of people would like to use Intuit credit card processing. So also something we can help you guys get set up with here at Fourlane if you need to. Make sure you're getting the best pricing. Don't just sign up online on Intuit because you can request better pricing. Definitely go through a QSC or Fourlane for sure. Yes, both online. Yes, in my desktop. So this would be helpful. And then I also use other payment processors. Okay, so this is the last major feature that we have to go through, and then we have a couple things with assisted. So I'm doing okay on time here. Payment links. This is a pretty cool thing. I do have to go through the PowerPoint again because the setup process is already set up. I have to show you the slides. So payment links. So when you go into your QuickBooks file to set up payment links, what are they? They are just what they sound like. It is a link so someone can pay you. But it is not tied to a transaction. Okay, so someone can pay you ahead of time. So we come in here, it asks you to log into your Intuit Merchant Service account, gives you some information, create a payment link, send it to your customer, get paid. Woohoo, high fives. When you create and send a payment link, it asks you for some information over here, right? What are you paying them for? This is a great time for you to do some additional marketing. You're paying me for the amazing tax services I provide you every year. Who are you paying it to? So this is your customer list. And what's their email address? And then how would you like them to be able to pay you, right? Because obviously credit cards will have a fee associated with it. Bank transfers, not. So then the payment link is created. It will be emailed automatically to the email you put in there, or you can copy this. So some ideas I thought of. You can use this for down payments, customer deposits, prepayments, initial consultations, trip fees if you charge it up front, estimate, sales order payments. right? So you don't have to do it tied to an invoice. You can text this link as Facebook Messenger, Slack, however you communicate with your customers. Again, use that what service selling area to promote more. Put something else extra in there. And also, this lets your customer do the data entry. They can put in their own credit card information. They can put in their own ACH information. You don't have to. So they will get an email. Hey, Fourlane would like $100 for a custom report down payment. And you can go ahead and click pay. When they click pay, they can choose to pay, again, by how you have allowed them to pay. I just had in here credit card. Again, they see here also that description of goods and services. I say use that field. You have paid Fourlane, and then they get a receipt that is automatically downloadable, which again has the goods and services in there. Okay. Now, when we come over in to our QuickBooks file, and we go up to customers and to payment links, this is where you're going to see this look here. The first thing, when they first pay, it'll come in as paid pending, just like other merchant service deposits. Okay. If you click in, you'll see that it was paid pending. Things to note about this: there are no partial payments. After it's paid, the receipt is auto-generated. There's only one link per transaction. Okay. This is not usually used for collections because that would have an invoice. So you would use that link on the invoice like we usually use in the past. Yeah. And then the deposit, credits A as a negative AR, debits cash or undeposited funds, negative AR, that's the results. Once you come in here, you would then go into record. I'm sorry, when you see this, right, you see, oh, it's deposited, we're ready to go. You would come in and record merchant service deposits under credit card processing activities. You have some preferences to set up in here the first time you do it. You would see that payment link, right, and who sent it in your merchant service center. And it would record it as a customer payment with no invoice, nothing else, right? So it would go in there as a negative accounts receivable. When we go into our customer center, we would see the payment in there. And then on our AR aging report, it would go in as a negative $100. So then, of course, when we create our invoice, when we're ready to finally create our invoice, and usually our invoice will be for more. Let's say it's not for $100, it'll be for $1,000. But it will pop up that box. This customer has available credits. Would you like to apply those credits to this invoice now? And then it will choose that credit that's available on account for that customer. So efficiencies: get paid without entering a transaction. Speed: the easier it is to pay, the faster you will get paid from your customers. And save time. Have customers maintain their own payment information. You don't have to key it in. If they're willing to key it in for you, let them do that. Okay, our last two features, which I'll go through super fast. Next day deposit, direct deposit with assisted payroll. So this is for assisted payroll only. And if any of your clients or yourself are using assisted payroll, we definitely should talk about the options through Enterprise, because Enterprise has significantly better pricing for assisted payroll. Anytime before 5 p.m. Pacific, the day before payday, that's if your payday is on Friday, anytime before 5 p.m. Pacific, the day before payday, Thursday, you can submit payroll. So you get in there an extra day, right? Funds also are not debited until Friday on that payroll day, or whatever payroll day is, right, for you. Funds are not debited from your bank account until that payday, which helps with cash flow. Of course, the standard default limit for payroll is $80,000 for payroll. So if you have more than $80,000 payroll runs, you have to request higher limits. So that's a really big deal. An extra day, especially if you have weekly payroll, to get through all your payroll information, and they do not remove the funds from your account until payday. The other thing that they've changed with Assisted is they've added some simplification with signing up. So when you get Assisted Payroll, it will give you nudges on the home screen. Hey, don't forget to go sign up for your Assisted Payroll. Let's get you through this process. You can add your payroll service key and connect to your bank account without having to involve Intuit now. And then the rest of the stuff you can go through onboarding, and then you can set up an appointment for onboarding. Okay, so let's go into our last poll of the day. Which feature resonated with you the most? Which one are you going to talk about? I always challenge people every year. We want to support QuickBooks and with the changes that they're making. We want to really support them, and the way to support them is by utilizing this, utilizing the features that they release out to us, right? And so we want more features released. Show them we want more by going out and talking about these things. Introduce them to your clients. Introduce them in your own company. If you need help with figuring out how to, when to, why to set these features up, that's why people like Fourlane are here, so definitely reach out. This webinar will be available. You can follow up, watch it on fourlane.com or cpaacademy.com, so you can go back and go through. The slide deck I tried to make as detailed as possible this year, so you could use it to feel comfortable and go through. But it's very simple things, just a lot of features this year. Again, I challenge you, please take from this and talk about with your clients the best parts of what's new, or your company. Be the advocate at your company as well.
Fantastic. What a wonderful webinar. Such great information. Thank you so much, Marjorie. And with that, we have come to the conclusion of today's webinar. We here at CPA Academy will process your credit later today. That, along with a copy of this webinar and handouts, will be available in your CPA Academy accounts within 24 hours. And if you look in your email inbox, you will find the evaluation link for this webinar. All questions asked today will be forwarded in a full report to our presenter as well. Thanks again, Marjorie, for your great content, and to our members for your participation. Please check the schedule on our website for additional information, and we hope to see you on a future webinar. Have a great day, everyone.